What is going on, everyone? Badger here. Should have liked and sub, and let's get into this. I was not doing YouTubes. I was not doing the U of Tubes at the time of this Rings of Power, but I was watching it, and I watched Gary and Drinker and Disparu, really, who came to prominence during it. Shredded it. Everyone shredded it. I watched it just so that I could see them make fun of it on Friday Night Tights and, be along with the joke. And now I'm here for the second coming, and no one cares. Views for this have been horrible. I mean, Drinker's going to get views because he's Drinker, but everyone else, no one cares about Rings of Power, and that should make sense since we continuously love to remind you and Amazon that only 37% of people even finished this goddamn piece of shit. So I don't know what they were thinking, but they are going to continue to do this until they've just wasted all their money. 5 seasons is what was promised, and apparently 5 seasons is what we're getting, but we got to get through the second, third, and fourth. So here it is, the second season. Let's see what Drinker has to say about this.
We come to it at last. The great battle of our time.
And remember, Lord of the Rings fans were one of the first to instantly ratio all of these channels to reject it, to reject the contradictions with lore or the events that never happened in lore, specifically with Galadriel. And it's even worse this time, if possible.
You know, watching modern Hollywood hacks trying to adapt works of classic fiction is a bit like watching a monkey try to pilot a space shuttle. It's pretty obvious they're going to fail in spectacular fashion, but there's a certain entertainment to be had in watching their feeble, idiotic attempts to get something right. Such was the case with The Rings of Power, an unwelcome billion-dollar vanity project that felt more like a piece of bad fan fiction written by a 13-year-old girl than
That's the thing, and everyone noticed not good looking graphics for the amount of money they spent on that first season.
a serious attempt to expand on Tolkien's work. Tell me, what was your favorite part of that show? The characters who spoke in metaphors so tortured they should have been reclassified as war crimes?
Like a spring rain over the bones of a spoilt carcass.
That's their perfume.
Pompous attempts at pseudo-philosophical ramblings that feel like they sprang from the mind of Tommy Wiseau.
Do you know why a ship floats and a stone cannot?
Nah, no idea, mate. The Galadriel that was updated for modern audiences.
And that was the other thing, is they didn't even make her likable. They didn't even, it's nothing against Morphin Clark, whatever. I think she could look all right in certain scenes, and her acting wasn't horrible. It's not Galadriel. It's not the character. You're never going to get Cate Blanchett.
By taking the very epitome of wisdom, feminine beauty, and spiritual power and turning her into a pouty, sullen, aggressive, arrogant, short-sighted girl boss. The Sauron reveal that was so obviously telegraphed that if you didn't see it coming from about 5 episodes away, you were probably a character in this show.
I can save him.
The arrival of not Gandalf, who ended up being actual Gandalf, because fuck it, creativity and imagination.
And by the way, not for nothing, this guy did the best acting in the entire. I literally look at his eyes. He did the best acting. Now, whether this is Gandalf or not Gandalf, and whether he should exist or not, if there was any redeeming, if there was one moment in all of season 1, it was when we were with this actor that I felt anything.
Are for losers, the creation of Mordor by a random hobo with a Rube Goldberg machine, the tribe of wandering murder hobbits who gleefully abandon their...
And I hate it. The Harfoots, the fake hobbits, not hobbits, original, whatever they're supposed to be, they were the worst part.
Thrown people to certain death for the crime of walking too slowly, the not-so-subtle allegory for modern political issues...
They took our job! Yeah, they're down!
Or the disastrous
The one elf took their job.
interviews with the hardcore Tolkien fans who had clearly never read a single chapter of his work in their entire lives and were nothing but a group of vacuous, empty-headed activists and wannabe influencers that were hired because they tick more diversity boxes than fucking Echo. It all added up to a massive steaming pile of fester and donk.
And then they didn't even watch. They caught up with those fake actors, and they were busy watching House of the Dragon and other things. They didn't even watch.
Shit, which was rightly mocked and torn apart by basically the entire internet. But you know what they say, evil doesn't rest, it waits. And instead of casting this show back into the fiery chasm from whence it came, Amazon decided to forge ahead regardless with season 2 of The Rings of Power. But how exactly would they respond to the armies of angry fans
That's my representation. He's actually Puerto Rican. I'm half Puerto Rican. So technically that's my representation, but I'm not allowed to fire my representation, unfortunately.
marching on their borders? Were they going to acknowledge the gaping deficiencies in plot and writing, the horrible characters, the infantile dialogue, the chronically bad world building, and the blatant bastardization of Tolkien's legacy, and vow to do better this time around? Nah, but at least they hired an all-female directing team for this season.
And and now if it's horrible, even worse so, they can blame us for being misogynist too.
Fucking nice one, lads. That'll really get the show
Cheeto dust everywhere.
back on track. You know, I always love it when Hollywood purposefully excludes half the population from their projects, all in the name of inclusion.
Fuck.
F's in the chat for Henry.
And now that our inner doublethink is primed and ready, let's take a look at the first teaser trailer. If I had to sum up this effort with a single word, that word would probably be safe. I mean, I could probably use other words to be fair, but I suspect they'd get this
I would have used remember. You remember?
video demonetized, so let's keep it diplomatic. It seems to be almost scientifically calculated to show as little as possible and provide almost no insight into the narrative arc of season 2. I mean, there's plenty of nice landscape shots that look pretty but mean nothing, and multiple scenes of various.
The CGI does look better. The CGI does look better. Now, and I think that was just a case of like most CGI in the last 10 years. It's all just rushed. It's all just rushed. They don't have enough time to go over it multiple times like they used to.
Characters looking concerned about things, I guess to remind us that they still exist, because I'm willing to bet that most people have forgotten who they even are at this point. Well, the 37% who actually.
There it is. That I think it got closer to the 40% overseas, and apparently a 50% completion rate would have been impressive to them. But goddamn, 37% of viewers not finishing it just sounds bad no matter how you try and look at it.
Actually managed to finish season 1 at least. But hey, there's still a few keys left to jangle. You remember Barad-dûr.
Okay, it's Barad-dûr. I was wondering. I couldn't tell. I was like, it sort of looks like maybe Isengard, but that's not the tower. But okay,
Don't you? You remember Mount Doom, don't you? Well, it's still there. So is Halbrand, probably wishing he hadn't signed that multi-season contract at this point. Nice to see Venom branching out into different genres, though. And of course, no Rings of Power teaser would be complete without everyone's favourite girl boss.
Prepare yourselves.
Oh, I think we're prepared, all right, Guy Ladriel. I really hope this is another ice troll that's about to attack, because she'll polish that shit off quicker than I can get through a pint of Corona. Oh yeah.
did I tell you when I killed an ice troll in under 30 seconds?
And remember Diverse Elf for modern audiences? Remember that stupid Matrix-style spin flip that he did in season 1? Well, I guess
Yeah.
that was a feature rather than a bug, because there he is doing the exact same thing again.
It's the Palpatine move. It's the reverse Palpatine from Revenge of the Sith. Go watch it.
Like, how the fuck do you just explode out of a stationary wagon like this? Where does all that
Farted.
kinetic energy come from? Why do I feel like I'm watching a Marvel movie? The only real focal point of this seems to be Sauron, who's got himself a perfect disguise this time around. Like, you know how that stupid Halbrand mystery plot from season 1 led to one of the dumbest and most predictable reveals in TV history?
That they were gonna ship them. That we called that from the very beginning. That the we can save Daddy Sauron vibe was gonna be strong, and it was.
Well, they seem to have dispensed with it here and just skipped straight to telling us who he is right off the bat.
He's Sauron.
Yeah, thanks for that, guys. We never would have figured out that it's the same exact actor wearing a wig and pointy ears. Ultimately, it's all much ado about nothing, and I think it's a very obvious sign that Amazon know how wildly unpopular this show is and are desperately trying not to offend anyone with this teaser. The new season launches in just over 3 months. Filming wrapped last year, and this is the very first piece of material they've released for it.
It's free.
Meanwhile, the House of the Dragon, and this immediately got ratioed. I don't know if he's gonna mention it. Immediately got ratioed. It's like almost 200,000 downvotes at this point to the 30,000 upvotes. And then House of the Dragon got released on the same day, and just polar opposite trailers. First of all, upvoted highly, but then also acting and character and feeling and not whatever the fuck this was.
It's a fray!
And for me, it defeats the very purpose of a teaser, which is supposed to show you just enough to get you excited and interested in what's coming next. A bit like Tatiana when she's hard at work. But this random collection of landscape shots, character portraits, and vaguely ominous dialogue didn't do anything for me. And by the looks of things, I'm not the only one. As of the time of recording this, the teaser is sitting at 58,000 upvotes and 234,000
The downvotes is much higher, yeah.
downvotes. And honestly, the most entertaining part of the whole experience was reading the comments section. And I think really that was my big takeaway for this whole thing. The animosity of a passionate fan base is an easy thing to gain, but very difficult to lose. And I don't think this teaser has done anything to change that situation. I mean, maybe season 2 will actually prove to be a big step up from its predecessor. Anything's possible, right? Or maybe it'll just be
This would have to be a perfect season for people to even be like, what? And then next season, maybe try it. But come on now.
another expensive disaster that further unites the fan base in their hatred of Amazon. One thing's for sure though, August is going to be a very interesting time for Lord of the Rings fans. Anyway, that's all I've got for today. Go away now.
We'll see. Right now, just based on views, like I said, on videos, Drink will be fine because he's Drinker, but no one cares about this. No one is clicking and watching, not in any sort of substantial numbers. People are still much more upset and or talking, interested in the Doctor Who situation or on the video game front. So maybe after Acolyte comes out and has whatever the hell it's going to do, people will be focused more when this actually comes out, and the interest level will go up or something, depending on the first few episodes. But for right now, it seems like they've done their worst. They've literally ruined their show. They've told everyone that doesn't like it not to watch. Where have you heard that before? And the only people left are just not enough to bring it to prominence. So we'll see. Maybe they can get a better completion rate than 37%. Either way, make sure to like, share, and sub. If you have done that, thank you. If you're going to do that, thank you. And go away now.
Well, bye.